Hello everyone, today I will do a presentation with my partners. This presentation will be divided into three parts. The first part will be introduced to everyone by me, and the rest will be left to my partners. Okay, let's go to the first part. In this part, three things must be known. Firstly, background. Octan believes that one of its former employees used the computer anti-forensics technology to steal company data and move it around using mobile device. But this employee claims he didn't steal any data for personal purpose. Secondly, we need to know what's the computer forensics and what's the anti-forensics. An expert have given a definition. Computer forensics refers to the process of obtaining, preserving, analyzing, and presenting evidence in accordance with law and regulations by using computer software and hardware technology for criminal activities, such as computer destruction and attack. And another expert gave another definition. Technically, computer forensics is the process of scanning and decrypting compromised computer systems to reconstruct. In contrast, computer anti-forensics is to delete or hide evidence so that the forensics work is invalid. Thirdly, according to the background of case and the definition of forensics and anti-forensics, we can know the challenge of this case. So there are two major challenges for this case. The first one is the limitation of forensic software. Because we know many evidence provide many forensics analyze software are only files that can be recovered by using RM command. The second one is it only relies on software forensics. Since the function of current forensics software are focused on the desk analyze, while other works is all depend on forensics experts. So it mostly leads to the illusion that computer forensics software is equal to desk analyze software. So I finished my part, then let my partners introduce the following part. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Li Yang. Next, I will introduce the anti-forensics through the literature review in order to prepare the analyzing of Octan case. Anti-forensics tools were initially used as a mean of crime. However, investigators and scientists have quickly recognized the potential of the anti-forensics, such as providing understandings of criminal behaviors, hating illegal activities, and so on. Thus, made it become an acknowledged yet unexploited area of study. In 2005, Pearl et al. Divided anti-forensics into four types, which are data hiding, artifact wiping, trial obfuscation, and attacks against computer forensics. Data hiding. The purpose of data hiding is to make it easy for data owners to access while protecting data from third parties. For data hiding, encryption, steganography, and another various forms of hardware or software-based data concealment are common forms, of which steganography is related to the case of Octan, because bitmap images embedded data, which mentioned by Octan, is considered a kind of a steganography. Bitmap is a kind of digital images which use pixel array dot matrix to express images, and it also is a data structure that represents a dataset in the financial field. Bitmap can be divided into 1, 4, 8, 16, 24, and 32-bit images based on bit dips. The more bits of immersion each pixel uses, the more colors are available, and the corresponding amount of data will be increased as well. Artifact wiping. Rogers in 2005 stated that the task of artifact wiping is to be permanently erase a specific file, interfile system, or at least make them not unusable to be investigation. Disk cleaner utility, file erasing utility, and disk destroy technology are common methods of artifact wiping. For cases like the Octan case, data smugglers could have attempted to eliminate trace and proof of their activities. Nonetheless, this action may produce another artifacts hitting investigators of their behaviors. Trial obfuscation. Trial obfuscation means that use some special methods such as log cleaners, spoofing misinformation to interfere with staff's forensics detection during the forensic processing, so that achieve the goals of hiding data. For the case of Octan, it is difficult to determine whether the former employers have left incorrect information to the interfere with the forensics process, but the investigators surely have to to be vigilant about the issues to avoid being misled. Attacks against computer forensics. Attacks against computer forensics are often used to disrupt forensics process by destroying or tampering with data in order to corrupt the system or interfering investigative process. To avoid this accident, forensics personnel protect the original data of the computer by creating a disk image. In Octan case, bitmap images need to be checked by hashes to enhance the evidence of Octan. Thank you.
The case is an arguable one which needs more thorough and holistic investigation to determine whether the former engineer smuggled sensitive data from Octan or not. Nevertheless, the following parts will look at the broader picture with the aim to figure out two things. First is the feasibility of data thief using bitmap image, and the second thing is the potential legal issues associated with that practice. Whether the accused engineer did steal the data from Octan or not, we believe that this issue would be a serious vulnerability which requires the company to be very vigilant. So let's take a look at the feasibility of bitmap image stenography. As mentioned about the practice of hiding data in a seemingly innocent medium, such as an image, a sound, or a video clip, is called stenography, which largely relies upon human limitations such as the human visual system or even boundaries and limitations of cyber systems. In fact, the practice of secretly embedding data in 24-bitmap image, like in the Octan case, is totally possible. Generally, the data are embedded into the cover image by utilizing a filtering algorithm to sort out the most important bits of each pixel and leaving the least significant bits, usually the 8th bit of each red, green, and blue component, to hide data. And the algorithm can warn this that the importing of data will have minimal impacts to the initial data, and thus making it harder to detect the concealed information. The output stereo image can be easily transferred within networks, uploaded to the internet, or being stored in a removable media. And to extract the embedded data, a reverse action will be done using the same algorithm to filter the LSB pixel and extract hidden data from them. And the key here is that the cover image and the stereo image are basically indifferent to human visual system, and usually their statistics are identical. And moreover, with its widely readable format and lightweight output, bitmap image can obviously be exploited by data thieves to smuggle private data. In the case of Octan, if the company could capture suspicious activities of former employees, it would initiate an investigation, and when the reverse stenography are being carried out, examiner can easily determine whether data smuggling happens or not. But the real problem is that number of data smuggling cases using stenography have been able to get away without anybody noticing or aware due to its traceless approach relying on human and system limitations. Therefore, managers and investigators should be highly restrict and vigilant about seemingly abnormal and unreasonable activities. So let's look at the case in the legal context. To determine whether the case originated by Octan is viable or not, investigators should examine the data smuggling practice and on two perspectives. First is the perspective of negative consequences to companies, and the second is the potential violations to the law. So on the side of the company, these sensitive data that have been stolen may contain trade secrets or confidential governmental policies, and when being leaked, these data have the potential to not only interfere Octan operational activities or performance, but also affect the oil industry as a whole. And in fact, to prevent this circumstance, it is ubiquitous for firms to implement different conditions and terms on employee contract and code of conducts. Ruling what are prohibited to be done, for example, unauthorized access and acquisition of sensitive data. In this standpoint, the act of data thief clearly violates the term of employment and may eventually lead to the breach of employment contract. And circumstantially, the thief have been fined according to the level of damage his action caused to Octan. Massive fines have been made in some example cases, such as 3 million Japanese yens in Benny's case or 25,000 sterling pounds in NAR's case. The second perspective deals with the regulatory consequences of data hiding, of data stealing activities. The Computer Misuse Act in 1990 stated that a person is guilty of an offense if it causes a computer to perform any function with intent to secure access to any program or data held in any computer. And second, the access is unauthorized, and the third is that he is conscious about his action. Both three above conditions has been fulfilled in the Octan case when the former engineer did secure his access to the company's sensitive data, and the access is unauthorized, and he intentionally did it using the stenography. So, and moreover, in cases the stolen data contains personal information about others, for example, employers or customer data, the smuggling activity would as well be deemed as a criminal offense under the Data Protection Act in 2018 or the General Data Protection in 2016. So after examining both perspectives, it can clearly be concluded that if the former engineer did steal the data, Octan case is viable under both contract and data laws. So let's take a look on the suspect side. Several potential defenses might emerge. The former employee might argue that data did not meet the legitimate definition of business secrets or personal data, and he does not export any data for personal gain, like in the case of business holding. To respond, Octan Corporation could prove those data could potentially influence the company operation activities. Moreover, the company can argue that the act of illegally stealing private data should be a criminal offense, whether or not personal gains occurred. On the other hand, the suspect may also rely on the limitation of company data management system, which might be insufficient to conclude that the information was being handled as confidential. Octan, in contrast, can reject this justification, since any internal policy related to confidential information, data protection, and information uses are clear between both sides at the time the contract was signed, and any data is collected and created by the Octan Corporation and its employees belong to the company itself, and it has the right to be informed about how the data is being used, being extracted, and so on. So in conclusion, the report found that bitmap image lithography is highly effective and exploitable thanks to its approach of relying on human system limitations and the ubiquity of image media. In the legal context, firms are protected under appropriate regulations which fight against data theft. Nevertheless, companies should be highly vigilant about their uses and preservation of private data to protect themselves from damage and losses.